This is a clip from one of our most recent episodes. For full episodes and more, please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and YourVibesPodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy. This episode is sponsored by Dickson Dog Mom, a local in-home pet care service providing daily dog walks and overnight house sitting. You can enjoy a peace of mind knowing that your four-legged family members will receive loving care while you work or travel. See for yourself why countless animals and their humans trust Kelly and her team of pet care professionals. Schedule your meet and greet today to create a custom pet care plan and receive 20% off your first service when you mention Your Vibes Podcast. Find them on their socials at Dickson Dog Mom and online at DicksonDogMom.com. I want to dive into, we'll just kind of have all this merged. So both of us obviously are well attuned, in Dickson County and connected, and kind of see this beast rumbling, and it has been for a little bit. I think one of the major things, kind of a turning point, was, I guess it was like 6 or so years ago when Thornton Drive came in. That just changed the face of 46 immediately. Yep. And a couple of the developers involved in that, did a great job in bringing in businesses and developing that in a beautiful manner. So, then it kind of stone stepped from there with some additions to things, and then finally the stability. It wasn't but 3 or so years ago when downtown businesses were just rotating in and out.
Right,
the turnover was miserable, and it was just,
and nobody was downtown.
Nobody. The lights would shut down, at 5:30 or 6 or so, and you'd have some restaurants open till 8 or 8:30, and people mosey around out there. But, you had House of Brews and things like that, but there was just really not too terribly many options. But now, man, look at what we've got now.
I know, it's incredible.
Look at what we've got now, and it's super special. And the leadership with the business owners downtown as well too. They're all, what I really enjoy seeing is how they all work with each other for the most part. Obviously, there's some drama that goes on, but like Chris Gadd or Justin Reynolds smokes. Sometimes when Chris wants to brew an amber beer, he'll smoke the grains for it. I think he's going to start doing some stuff for maybe Elizabeth at Boardables, and I think Pumphrey's is now going to try to carry some of Chris's beer.
Oh, cool.
And it's just this collaboration of people that want to see Main Street work.
Right.
So I guess in your time here, what are some, significant changes that you've seen, and maybe where do you think you're going? What does the county need? What needs to be added? Maybe something a little more, a little less. Just to kind of mold this putty the way it's going.
Well, we talked about this a little bit. We need some kind of venue that we can advertise to people. Come to Dickson, to have your convention, or your small convention or whatever. I think we have enough hotel space. We've got all those out there at the interstate and everything.
Nice hotels too.
Yes, very nice. But we don't have any place where everybody can gather in one place and hold a meeting or a convention or whatever. So one of the things that we've been discussing is trying to do an ag center, and I'm a proponent of that. Trying to get, like we talked about, like the one in Franklin is really, really nice, the way they did theirs out there.
Yeah.
I would like to see something like that here in Dickson, where we could have different, events come in, from rodeos, or, companies having events or whatever.
Major conferences.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we have nothing like that right now. So, that's kind of something that I'm really putting on the front burner to see if we can't get done.
That would change the face of things completely.
No doubt.
Completely. We talk about, what's that thing that Dickson needs? And I've heard people say a private school. The median income's not there yet. We're going to have to wait. And that's not really going to drive people out here. It's kind of limited. Which I agree with it. It needs to happen at some point, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Or another major industry. We've got a lot of those, and they're good paying jobs, and it would be great to have an addition, but you're not really changing the face of tourism at that point.
Right.
but having, like you said, a conference center, a convention type center with the flexibility to do anything, like you said, you could do a rodeo. Could have a space for, if Apple wanted to come in and bring a bunch of their bigwigs in, and they didn't want to, pay all, which they could afford it. It was a bad example, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
A company that may not want to pay a whole bunch of money national, or it's booked, or
Right.
they want to do it somewhere different. I mean, it just that would provide an extremely flexible and viable option to suck out major
Yes.
companies to come out here and just look at Dickson.
Right.
And eventually, and you let me know what you think about this. And I know there's some infrastructure problems in place as far as specifically internet, but from a development standpoint, the water and sewer, things like that. But specifically internet, that these major industries, every company nowadays is a tech company. Every company. I mean, that's how you keep ahead of the game, is your technology and your systems and your software is more efficient, and your marketing strategies are more efficient or more wide range, or whatever it may be. But to have a tech company come out here, no matter how big or small, I've always thought it would be really, really neat to have, to describe Dickson as somewhat of a small business incubator, to where these companies can come in an extremely entrepreneurial friendly environment, with the amenities that they need, as well as, really, really good internet in wherever they may live, because most of them would work from their home. But even then, if you had a conference come out here and there was just a contractor for a major company that was some sort of tech company that were like, hey, we're in California, we're looking to get the hell out. Dickson seems like a pretty cool spot. The first thing they would do is, what's the internet look like? Shit. Well, they're out of here. Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, do you think that would be viable, something to work on there?
Yeah, absolutely. And as well as I that the electric company is in the process of trying to run all these lines to basically everybody that has electric and make the internet available to them. And I think I think that's a 2 to 3 year project. I think it was something like that. So that's of course, now downtown here in Dickson, we've got pretty good internet service. You've got Comcast, you've got AT&T, you've got other options, for the internet. So I think downtown is pretty good. It's just the fact that rurally we're really not there yet. So I think that's kind of been a priority for the county, and working with the electric company to try to get that done. And I think that's going to happen. And it came to a head kind of when we went through the lockdown and everything, and all these kids were at home and they had no internet service. So it was a real deterrent for the school system to try to continue to keep these kids in school and continue to do their work. So I think it was a real problem, and I think we kind of realized, okay, we've got a big problem here. We need to try to fix it. So I think that working with the Dickson Electric and some of these others, I think it's in the process of being fixed. Now it may take a year or two before we have it completely fixed, but it's coming. So yeah, that's a big thing that we have to tackle.
Hopefully it's not out of necessity again. So whatever happened in 2020, I'd hate to see that happen again. And because internet or not, you've got some of these. We're in a rural county, and there's some kids that have some real home issues, and to just not allow them, even from a food standpoint, a lot of times they rely on their meals at school.
Right.
And it's just a sad thing to see that. So, and even beyond the schooling system, as far as just remote learning, you saw a lot of major industries as well, too, have everybody work from home. So, and I reading, just kind of keeping up with how that's going, like, are people coming back in the office? And it's kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, I know. They don't want to come back. Now, some of these companies are, I think, going to make them come back simply because they think they have to have their eyes on them or whatever, which I don't think is necessary. But people are realizing, you don't have to live in a big city now to have that job, because you can be rural now as long as you've got a good internet connection, and you can do the same job you could by driving to Nashville.
Absolutely.
So So again, internet's important to,
and there's more ways to make money online. I'm not one of them, but people do it, man. I mean, you get these ClickFunnels type things, and whatever kind of product they're pushing. I mean, this 4-hour, Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week type thing is a real deal if you really dedicate yourself to it. And,
right.
There's more and more people I know. I'm like, well, how do you make your money? Well, I sell stuff on Instagram, or I drop ship from Amazon, and make $200,000 a year. I'm just like, golly, but that's a whole different kind of breed of people. But to the point is, there is a massive amount of money to be made just via the internet, remotely, online, and a lot of even the jobs, even if it's not something, an entrepreneurial type thing, all their stuff's done on a computer, whether they're in a brick and mortar, office building or not. Right. So thanks again to Dickson Dog Mom for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to reach out to Kelly to schedule your initial meet and greet today. And remember, you can receive 20% off your first service when you mention Your Vibes Podcast. If you're interested in sponsoring an episode, please reach out to me directly via email at yourvibespodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and always remember, stay vibey, my friends.